All right, kids, we're going to try one of these vlog things. I'm going to make a real quick video reference to the number 41 Spec Corvette car that just got completed. Just in case there's some folks that are interested kind of in the build process and kind of how this took place. This vehicle was purchased in the donor car in April of 2024 when I convinced my loving wife to let me purchase this as a 3-year project. This was start as a street car, then kind of like an autocross time trial thing, and then eventually in a couple years as I transitioned to retirement, road racing car consistent with my behavior. That didn't work out too well, and so I went all in, and here 11 months later we have a full-blown race car. So this started life. It is a 2003 Chevy Corvette Z06 stock. Has a stock LS6 in it with a claimed 405 horsepower that has not been altered. And I'm just going to walk through the changes that we made to this vehicle to make it good to go in this racing series. We'll start here in the front. We'll go underneath the hood. Oof. So, unfortunately the sun's coming through the vents, but stock LS6 engine, nothing too interesting there. Improved racing, well, catch can, K-Tech belt tensioner. We do have a track spec racing radiator with improved with a integrated oil cooler. You might notice air cleaner's upside down, so you have to run the stock air cleaner in this division. It does not have to have the cover on it, so you take the cover off, zip tie it, exposes the filter. However, you flip it, called the zip and flip. So you flip it over, and then inside this air shroud, radiator shroud, there's a port cut open, and it's attached with riv nuts, so it's getting direct air. You car folks probably know the Corvettes are bottom feeder, so the air comes up here, gets trapped by this shroud, goes right to the radiator. Up top here you'll see this is the Penske shock. We'll talk about that in a minute, but that's sort of the shock reservoirs. Other than that, it's totally stock. That's where the division's set up. A couple other, and then we'll take a walk around. The other thing we did, we have hood vents, both for cooling and to get the air from this trapped inside the car. Walk around. These are Apex wheels. We run a square setup, which I'll show you here in a second. Walk around the front. Obviously it's a 41 car, 41 second to none. If you know, you know. So the front, you'll see the fog light block off there. Some guys run that, some guys don't. So it helps keep air from lifting up the front of the car when you're at pretty high speeds. Optional. I just chose to go with it. Makes it look more like a race car. You know, I'm LARPing as a race car driver, so might as well go all in. Tow hook required. SCCA. Track time super expensive, so at races, if you decide to spin versus win, they want to hook you up, get you out of the way as quick as possible. So we'll move around here. I took the wheel off already so I could show you the two big improvements, and the sun's pretty bright, so hopefully this is the Wildwood racing or high performance brakes, which are huge. Also, if you look in here, we have the Penske coilover shocks. That's probably the most expensive modification. Also the track spec sway bar and end links. And if you look up here, you'll see we have AMT Motorsport upper control arm mounts. These all the control arms were worked over with Delrin bushings from Van Steel, which is a shop out of Clearwater, Florida. Then down here you'll see we're using AMT camber plates to ensure we could get the correct alignment, as well as they're not the eccentric bolts, so they're not subject to splitting. So that's about it down here. So you'll see here's the tire. We run a square setup, so all the way around versus a stock Corvette will have staggered, so bigger tires in back. We run a square setup, 18 by 11 wheels. These are Nankings. We run 315s by 30 R18s in all corners. This series just switched to the Vitors P1s, I think, so we can run either tire this season. I'm currently racing in the South Atlantic Road Racing Championship, and hopefully I drive better than I put decals on, but time will tell, certainly that. So as we walk around here, you'll see this is we're going to look a little bit harder at the safety equipment on the other side, but this right here is activates the fire suppression system, and this turns all the electric system off. So if I'm in a crash and there's a fire, I can reach this, but so can a corner worker, right? So if I'm incapacitated, so these two symbols mark where they can get to. In reference to safety stuff, I should have had this up, but obviously it's got the traditional Ricky Bobby window net. Inside the car, the entire interior is taken out, so there's nothing left except for the dashboard that's required. All the airbags are out, HVAC system's out, any type of evac system, all that. It's not a street car. All that comes out. Racing detachable steering wheel, help you get in and out of that sucker. We have the OMP containment seat. This is a HTER for big kids, and then Saybelt 6-point system. It's mounted with an AMT low profile mounting. That's absolutely critical. I'm still struggling with clearance issues because I have a big head, which means I have a big helmet, and just to get my dome to clear the roll cage. The car is completely roll caged, what they call NASCAR bars. All of the safety equipment was done by Piper Motorsport in Leesburg, Virginia, up in DC. That required 40 hours of driving, so 20 to get it up there and back, and then 20 more to go get it back 3 weeks later and back. But that was a decided requirement by my sponsor and wife Alex, that we were going to do that done correctly, so we took that to a proper shop. Here's the dash. This is what happens when Scott tries to be a fabricator. There's only so many hundreds of hours of YouTube I can watch, so it's pretty simple. There's only one button I needed to retain. That's the traction control, and frankly I just did not have time or in me here at the end to learn how to rewire stuff, and so I just zip tied that sucker in there. This is a C6 shifter. They just work a little better than the C5. You'll notice that the bolts out of that, it was giving me some, I'm still messing with it. It was a little loose. That's there. We'll walk around to the back. Same Penske shocks in all four corners. You'll see in the trunk. Here's where the remote canisters are there. That's what I pointed out earlier. That was in the front. This thing here, you take out the OEM, has a dip, just like a tub where they actually had a subwoofer. So that's totally cut out. So if you take this plate out, which this was primarily fabricated by Brock at Roark Customs, so thank you, Brock. I held the flashlight. It was just like when I was 8, except he didn't hit as hard as my dad did. So that was it was a fun and learning process. But no, Roark Customs gave us quite a bit of assistance. This thing was on the lift out there for about 3 weeks, so we appreciate it. You also see the back side of the cage. Everything's painted. It's actually a silver Rust-Oleum, which is rolled on, surprisingly, but it actually is pretty effective. So that's it for the back. Here you see the only aero allowed, so it's a G-Stream spoiler, so it's mandatory. We have to keep that. Come around back. We have another tow hook here. Again, another sway bar by Track Spec, and then that's about it. This was my only non-functional thing, is to have this wrapped in black, to have kind of that traditional racing Corvette. It frankly is a waste of money because it doesn't make it fast or better or more reliable. You're kind of wasting your money because the race car is not a nice car, but you know, let me LARP, let me be. Captain America license plate because America and bald eagles and stuff. And then another probably air. This is a Hooker Blackheart axle back exhaust that was put on this car when I thought it was going to be a street car for a lot longer. Probably totally unnecessary for this sucker. Again, as you guys know, 41, second to none. As we work our way around to kind of complete this journey, again, you'll see here's another fire suppression pull. You might be like, hey Scott, like you got stompy little arms, so who's that for? Well, I'm glad you asked. It's not for me, it's for a corner worker in case I'm incapacitated or can't get out of the car and I'm getting ready to get cooked or well done. They can pull that, which would then activate this 5 or 8 pound, I think it's an 8 pound Lifeline fire suppression system that has nozzles, 2 underneath my feet and a couple, actually 4 in the engine compartment, and so that will hopefully keep me from going full well done. Also, this is what they call a center net. Just helps in it, which needs to be adjusted a little bit because it was put in and we've been monkeying with it a little bit. So that is keeps your body in case of a substantial impact. I did point out, in case you're kind of new to racing, that's a halo, a containment seat that keeps your big dome from bouncing around in case of something goes wrong. Again, OEM dash. That's the only thing that's retained in the car on the inside. That's OEM. So come back around. Obviously, if you're not following our journey on Instagram, then that apparently you don't love America. That's cool. That's up to you. It's quite a bit. I'm sure I'm missing some stuff, but I want to do a quick video introducing the car, as well as kind of the build process, because most of it was done by me on the internet. And the big thanks out obviously to Roark Customs, Brock there. Also a guy named Josh Carroll, who is my so Brock is my in-person garage daddy. Josh Carroll is my virtual garage daddy. He has about a 50-year plus part series on building a Spec Corvette, and I guarantee I watched every single hour of that, and so I certainly appreciate it. And then first race is in April 15th, I think. No, check that. April 12th, and at the Worldwide Technologies racetrack or whatever it is over there. So it's kind of a basic road course, but I thought it'd be a good one to start off with to see where we go from there, and you know, see where this journey takes us. Also, if anybody needs a nice C6 Corvette, the C6 is for sale, so it's got to go. So just let me know. Anyway, so here's the 41 car. She's done and ready to run, as they say in the street. So thanks for, if you've watched this long, I'm sorry that your life is taking that turn, but I appreciate your interest, and keep watching. Thanks.